Hello everyone. We are here with Security Guard Solutions. Mustafa Juma and Farhan Mirza. Do you guys want to do your introductions?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, guy. Thank you, brother Fares, for hosting us. My name is Mustafa. I'm the founder of Security Guard Solutions. We are a California-based private security company. We provide armed, unarmed, and patrol canine dog, as you can see, a little band over here, as well as close protection or civilian protection for very high-end clients. Again, thank you for hosting.
Thank you very much, Faiz, for hosting us again, and then Farhan Mirza, partnered with Mustafa when he founded this company. And my background has been more on engineering, management, and worked in the automotive and industrial sectors. Lived in 7 countries in my lifetime, and security has always been a concern, depending on the environments I've worked in and lived in the places where a sense of belonging was always missing, where there could be something which could always be done more. And the opportunity was merging technology, the what I bring to the table, and already having a solid experience of security, which Mustafa had, and how can we make a state of the art, best of the best, cutting edge technology merged with security to give uh, um, uh, the sense of belonging that our clients expect from us when they give us the assignment.
It's amazing. So, I have a lineup of questions for both of you, and we're going to warm up a little bit and we'll just ask basic questions, and we're going to get into very specifics. And, we have some questions from our viewers too. So, we're going to go through those and then, we'll take it one by one. So, first question, I want to take it a step back. Let's try to learn more about, before SGS existed. What were both of you doing? And what problems first made you say, "Oh, this is the company we need to start"?
Sure, real quick.
I could take a stab at it.
Go ahead, go ahead.
As mentioned earlier, by profession an engineer, and from there on moved into management side, purchasing, supply chain, and running operations for several organizations, domestic as well as international, and that took me to Asia, Europe, South America, as well as North America. And every place I've been in, and I've worked with startups as well as major Fortune 500 companies. And every place I went in, it was, we always either took security for granted till we really saw something as an issue come up, and that was either catastrophic or was a near miss, or we assumed that what security we had, we cut corners as organizations and said that this should be good enough. And then you realize that it took a toll on either capital or human life, and that was not good enough. That always lingered as a question in my mind. And then when I had the opportunity at one of our Chamber of Commerce meetings to interact with Mustafa, all of that kind of synced in the next few months. I kept on interacting with him. And then I said that this is the perfect opportunity again to merge my business and technology experience and get his security experience. And then how can we create something which no one else has in this really cutthroat business?
Absolutely, that's amazing.
Yeah, and with me, the way I started and why I created this company is because I worked as a guard myself, and I've seen how companies treat guards, how guards are sometimes trained, sometimes not trained, and really clients and customers are getting charged premium. I started this company back in 2019, but graduated from Emily Griffith Technical College out of Denver, Colorado, and moved to California back in 2019.
That's awesome. This is one of the biggest challenges, whichever industry that you go in. A lot of the times people don't really have, people cut corners, right? How can we save up a little bit of money and like you mentioned, provide a kind of service that is not up to the part but will just pass? So what was your experience? The previous company, and we don't have to name them, but we can talk about what you saw and you said, okay, I can do a better job and this is how I will do it. Give us some examples.
Right. I mean, some example that I went through personally when I was managing around 8 guards, and something would happen with the guard and either the residence or the client itself, or the client itself. The whenever I bring up the issue to the owners or the account managers, they will just, I mean, they'll tell me I'm busy. I mean, there's something going on, that there's an issue that needs to be fixed. We need to see how to fix it. They'll just tell me I'm busy, handle it. And I did, yes, handle the situation with, talking with the guard and the client or the residents within that facility, and then reconciling everything. But that kept on happening, and they would just tell me I'm busy, or they sometimes wouldn't even pick up my call or send a supervisor to come see what's going on. So I thought that was really odd for a security company when you're providing services and you're supposed to be protecting people, and then more than that, take care of your guards, your employees. That way they can perform and actually take care of your clients.
If let's say today the same thing happens in your company, that there is an escalation, there is a situation that you both need to solve now. How, as top leadership, how do you deal with it differently?
Yeah, because of that, we set up protocols and chain of command. So we have a 24-hour dispatch that answers the calls, and if they cannot figure out what's going on and handle the situation, they'll immediately dispatch a supervisor that's in the field within the area, and then give us a call and give us an update of what happened, and then we go ahead and investigate what happened. We talk to the guard. By that time, a supervisor will already be there and assess the situation, and if we need to be there, we'll be there. Otherwise, it's all based on situations.
Do you get involved in the day-to-day or escalation? You said it's a very good point. So the way I see it, he was running the company by himself previously, and then he opted to make his own company. How do you deal with any escalation, or are you involved in that?
Sure. Of course, on the operations side, Mustafa takes the lead and manages the show, but it's a team effort.
So we got supervisors, we got managers, we got team leaders, and then we got management. We got HR, we got office manager. So the simple rule of thumb I bring in when you're running a manufacturing operation, so you go in and say, if the line is down, 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, and then the entire world is on fire if in 15 minutes you don't start up. So in this business, in 0 to 15 minutes, if we cannot get a supervisor to address the situation, then it gets escalated. So 15 to 30 minutes, it would come to the Mustafa himself as the end. The buck stops with him, right? So the owner of the business and says, I got to get involved. So whatever has to happen, we have got chain of command built into the 30-minute window. Now, every hour, every guard, no matter what part of the country we are working, we have got pulse, because we use technology again to see where they are. Geofencing, their location is being tracked. We use a specific software for scheduling and awareness of whereabouts of the guards. So we are aware of where the situation is before it even escalates. That's what differentiates security guard solutions from our competition.
So, what's one thing? And I know there may be a lot of things that you learned and you felt like, okay, this is very different. This is something I will not compromise on. So tell me this one thing that both of you can mention for yourself, that in your previous years that you saw other people cutting corners on, and you said, in my company, I will not compromise on this. A lot of experience in other companies.
If I may just take a stab at it, because I always look at it from the angle, and we discuss this internally a lot. Say, two things: people are willing to pay for something, and people are not willing to pay for something. So,
which sometimes may be the most important. Safety is an overriding priority. Because it doesn't show the value, a client doesn't want to pay. So we said, when we partnered and we said, our company Security Guard Solutions is never going to compromise on safety, no matter whether we get paid for it or not. Then the next aspect is training. We will train and train and train till there is, and it will never stop. Train, improve, train, improve. So safety and training, whether we get paid or compensated or not, our company will always be differentiated on those aspects compared to our competition.
Turned down some clients that wanted to, pay the lowest price possible, and we don't compromise. All of our guards are trained properly. They're fully licensed, and we are also fully insured. So, yeah, we don't compromise.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Tell me, what is the biggest misconception that people have about security guards?
I mean, they see it as he's a watchman or just somebody, right? They show no importance whatsoever. But in reality, I mean, whoever is on that site at your property, he's your eyes. He gets to tell you what's going on. He gets to tell you the lights are out or there's a break-in, or he's literally your eyes while you're not there. So
different countries I've lived in, different environments and industries I've looked at, the misconception is sometimes it's a requirement for insurance, sometimes a requirement just to give a good feel that you have security. So you just put whoever, wherever, whatever, not really understanding what the implications would be. That is the misconception.
One thing that somebody asked was, do cameras replace security guards, or do they make them more effective?
in reality, cameras only document history. That's it. But with the combination of a trained security guard, it makes a huge difference. Cameras, you can only show evidence of what happened, but with trained guards, you're able to de-escalate, you're able to assess situations and prevent incidents that might be very detrimental for the community or whoever we're protecting. So technology cameras with trained guards make the absolute best combination, but cameras do not replace guards.
I see. That's awesome. We're going to get into more real stories now. So things about
and we have tons of them.
you have tons of them. Yes, I've heard some.
Yes.
I've heard some. I hope we hear some more. So tell me a situation where it wasn't just about force, and it was about professionalism. It could be you, your guard, or like anyone that you know of. That a situation where professionalism was more important than force.
Yeah, sure. I mean, personally, I had this situation in Oakland, California, back in 2020 during the pandemic. It was a very unfortunate situation where three mothers, single mothers with their children, decided they found a house that was abandoned and they decided to move in. They moved in, called the city, connected the water and power, and they decided to live. And the owner, was sending back-to-back letters and asking them to leave the property, but they wouldn't leave. So eventually, he escalated the situation to the mayor. So the city mayor had to come, and police was all over the place. Choppers was, in the air. I think they might have brought SWAT also. I'm not really sure, but can't really remember. But it was a very intense situation. ABC News was on site, all these news reporters, and I was the guard. I was the unarmed guard. The entire community was there, and everybody was mad. Everybody was frustrated. It's pandemic. Where are they gonna go? They don't have any place. They can't work whatsoever. And so eventually they had to escort them out. They went in, took the three mothers out with their kids out, and then they fenced the house. And I was supposed to be outside and make sure nobody go back inside. So after they removed them, I was to be right there, and everybody was still there, and everybody was mad, everybody was angry. You supporting them, you letting this happen and whatnot. And that's why, I thought, I need to be professional here. Force is not gonna work. It's only gonna make things worse. So I decided to stay calm, collect myself, and just let things be. I mean, people were very mad and angry. I mean, this one guy was so mad that I was kind of telling people, please, can you step away from the house, and he was telling me, I dare you to touch me. Dare you to touch me, and I'm gonna knock you out. you know, but I kept my cool. I kept on smiling. I wasn't armed at that time, so just kept it professional. I'm sorry, guys, but you can't be here. That's it. But what really saved me is the Quran. Wallah, I pulled the book. I mean, I literally went to my car, and I would say that was a miracle or whatever it is. I don't know, but I went to my car, brought the Quran, and I just opened the book and started reading. I wasn't reading loud, but I started reading, and then 5 minutes later, everybody left. The news reporters left. There's no police. Everybody within that community who was mad, not mad, kids, whatever, everybody left, and I was just left alone. I don't know what to call. I'm still mind blown by that, but I would say the Most High came through.
So tell me about, like, you don't have to name details, but tell me an example where SGS prevented an issue from happening.
I didn't think that. I mean, there's a few of them.
Like, I mean,
Let me think.
we go through tons of this situation like this, and each day of our life. For example,
There's a place of worship which we protect, and there's probably every week about 5,000 people come through from the worship perspective. It's pretty busy, and this is within the LA County area, and there's people who have been released from the jails and prisons for who are pedophiles, people who have been released for other violent crimes, who have served their time. Come on, you have those kind of situations to keep your eyes and ears on. Then you have got the transient situation with the homelessness to keep your eyes and ears on, and at the same time, almost all of them want to also come to the place of worship. So how do you keep the professionalism and still try to make sure that some nuisance not happening? Do break-ins happen over there? Do people try to come and take shelter over there? And then we have to walk the tight line of making sure that crime doesn't happen. People are not really abusing that place for their own benefit, and still keeping the place safe. So we use camera monitoring, and we do 24-hour surveillance over there. We have got our armed and unarmed guards. We got patrol services over there. So we have all of those activities going on, and that's how we could. And any given day, from drug deals happening, from people going through from flesh trade to people who are wanting to do some acts of thefts, we prevent a lot of stuff around there. And again, we have got the pastors of the organization also who live close by and protecting their homes too.
We're licensed in California and Texas, and what had happened recently with the job we got hired in Texas, it was a construction job, and we were instructed nobody is to enter the site after hours whatsoever, and I recommend there's no lights whatsoever, and people will still drive. I'm not sure if the contractor did let their people know that, hey, we have security at night and you're not supposed to come after hours. People are coming at 1 a.m. claiming that we have a job to do, but they told us nobody's supposed to come in. So the guard was directing people away while keeping us informed that, hey, some people are trying to check in, and I told them not to enter the site. Some people were being reluctant, but some people did accept, and they ended up leaving. And about 6 to 7 cars ended up coming, and some people didn't want to leave, so we had to call the local PD to come and let them know, hey, they don't want you here. You're gonna have to come back, after 6:30 a.m. And then after they left, a different car came out of nowhere, and the site is a huge site. I think there's multiple entryway, and the guy out of nowhere was speeding. I think he had a trailer. Yeah, he had a trailer on his car. He was driving a Ford, I think 250. And the guard, because the the site is so big, you could come from that side and it'll take me around like maybe 10-15 seconds to reach, driving. So I was driving fast, and the guard wanted to drive up to him to let him know, hey, you're not supposed to be here, and then ended up colliding with each other. So this guy hit the guard and ripped his entire fender out, and with the headlight, and more than that, he pulled a gun out of, put it on the guard's head. And eventually the guard had to explain himself, like, hey, I'm a guard here, we got hired, you're not supposed to be here after hours. Then he disengaged, put his firearm away, and we called the police, and they documented everything. But how we prevented that is, it's a very sticky situation, and first I would say he had a flashlight and whatnot, but again, a very sticky situation. They should have told their people that they're not supposed to be there. You should not think about the money. You should think about hiring the right company to be able to safeguard your site. Example, instead of just hiring an unarmed guard or armed guard, you should include a patrol vehicle with amber lights. That way, people know that there's security on site now, and they don't just drive through and start thinking somebody's chasing them, back and forth.
Wow, that's awesome. So, from your leadership experience, what do you look for in a guard? Like, what is more important than just experience?
If you want to take
I
a
would
shot
say
real quick.
that applies to no matter what industry where you go, more so the security industry, because people are relying on you for their well-being, if I may use those terms. So individual respect and responsibility, trust and integrity. So these are the cornerstones we don't want to compromise on. So, and along with that would come punctuality. So synchronous with discipline. So individual respect and responsibility, trust, integrity, punctuality, discipline.
That's awesome. And in your company at SGS, what does accountability looks like inside your organization?
So my accountability from regardless of the individual being hired would be, again, you got to be able to have these four qualities of individual respect and responsibility, trust, integrity, discipline, and punctuality. So when it comes to accountability, we will give training till the time you as the security officer are saying, I am now competent enough to do the job. So we will not fall short of giving the training. Once you understand training, the standing operating procedures, those will be given. The post orders, those will be given. Then you sign up for the assignment we assign you to, and you go. Once you take the command post and you accept the command post, then we expect as an organization that you are now going to not have any reason or issue whatsoever to even fall an iota short. So this is what again differentiates security guard solutions from the rest of our competitors, where we do not cut corners on giving the training and explaining the post orders and arming the person with the right tools to do that command post assignment. And after that, we hold them to the highest levels of accountability, and there is no second chance.
Gross negligence, then you're let go.
So if someone says nothing ever happens here, what goes through your mind? So you go to a shop, you go to a construction facility, and you say, hey, use my security guards. And the person says, nothing ever happens here. What goes through your mind?
For my mind, I would say the devil is in the detail. So you don't know what you don't know till you come to know. So you do a process map, you do a flow analysis, and then you show the risk and reward. Some places it may be true that nothing ever happens, fine, which is great. We never ever want to be doing an assignment for a client where there is no need. But whenever we can show some
value, we'll do the value. So wherever we go, we don't look at it that are we going to sign up as a client. where is the value security guard solutions can offer to the client. Again, that's what differentiates security guard solutions from the rest of our competition. We go in with, let me show the value add, then you decide you want to be part of the value add and then do the benefit for yourself.
Do you also want to answer that?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, probably they haven't done an assessment to their property, or or security is just simply overdue. They don't know until something happens. Then, out of panic, they end up hiring the wrong security company. So, yeah.
And tell me, why do some businesses only think about security after something bad happens?
I mean, that's very common in our industry. They call us in a state of panic, and they start collecting bids, and then they hire nothing against old people, but they just hire a random company after getting some bids because they're on a budget, and then the situation only gets bad, or it keeps happening. Yeah.
What does bad hiring look like? How does it impact businesses? Have you seen someone hire a bad company and then they made an even bigger loss?
Yes. So situation where I knew a company that was bidding, and we were bidding also, and they end up going with that company because they were a little bit cheaper than us.
Yes.
And what ended up happening is they sent, basically a warm body to the site, and while the guard was there, damage was done again. They ended up breaking in and stealing their property, and they ended up calling us to come and take over after it was already too late.
So this industry, like both of you also mentioned, has it's very common to cut corners in this industry. So how do you as owners manage the balance between cost and quality?
So that comes back to compromising. We don't compromise, and we balance it with we charge the right price, but we make sure that we send the proper trained guard, and we balance it with technology. The way we track our guard, we have, again, 24-hour dispatch. We use a very good system that tracks the guard's activity throughout the site, and we set up a perimeter around the site. That way we know if the guard leaves and whatnot. And then we also have 24-hour dispatch on the field, supervision on the field that does random checks on the site. So we train and then maintain that training, as well as keep retraining and constantly keep track on the guard and on the site.
What is one question people should ask a security company but they don't?
It's more than one question. I can tell you that. One, are the guards hired? Two, are they experienced? Three, are they? Did I say hired?
Yeah.
No. One, are the guards licensed? Two, are they experienced, or do they have any kind of guard experience? Three, what is the company's training procedures? How does the company train guards? And then what is the company's quality control? After deploying a guard to the site, how do you guys maintain and control quality and making sure the site is safer? So these are very minimal, basic questions that you should ask a security company before you hire them.
Okay, but for everybody, for every single homeowner, business owner, construction site, or whatever that may be, what is one message that you want to give them, both of you, one by one, for a security guard solution company? So what is one message that you want them to take home, thinking about this, what this company does, this, who they are?
I would say it's the 5P principle. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. 5P, proper preparation prevents poor performance. You give us an opportunity to come in and show you what value we bring, what technology we bring. Every single minute of when you hire us, you will get a detailed report within a 24-hour period for what happened in the past 24 hours. And you can see not just your value for the money coming in, but your peace of mind, your assurance that you gave us something to protect, and we are doing it at above and beyond job. Again, proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Give us some wild stories. Now we have like extra 7 minutes. Tell us some wild stories in your experience, something crazy that happened. How did you deal with it?
So I mean, one crazy story that happened last year was we are servicing this site in San Diego, and it's a very happening site. It's a fast food restaurant, and we have an unarmed guard hired at that location. And I mean, I can tell you this site we hired because it gets so stressful that the guards just don't want to deal with the site anymore. And we had almost 3 to 4 different guards within the period of 1 year. The craziest thing that happened on camera is the guard got assaulted, and he was instructed to watch the products that came in the morning and to be at a certain location. And he can't move. He can't really, move, but he kind of like got ambushed and just got punched in the face, and it was a very, very bad situation. But this is what we deal with. People think security is just a warm body, but there's real situation where people's life are, put in danger.
The risk of security, even with the risk of, potentially losing your life. As a security guard, how do you prepare yourself every day that okay, I'm going there, this can happen? How do you prepare yourself?
I mean, it's a choice, and you have to be mentally and semi-physically prepared to deal. I mean, most of the time you deal with things, mentally. You got to be calm and collected. You got to be professional. You got to be able to assess situation. You got to be able to sense if there's something odd, somebody's moving funny, a door is not supposed to be open. Just being present and being aware of your surroundings is what really helps a lot. So you come in with that mentality, and the priority or the goal is to be or to go back home the same way you came.
So, tell me about what's your competitive advantage. I know you mentioned about training. I know you mentioned about experience. What's different? What are you doing in the technology realm? What are you doing in the processes that is different and better than everybody else out there?
So as I'll touch 2 aspects of it. One is again the insurances. So we didn't touch upon insurances. We carry, compared to a lot of a competition, I would say 95% of a competition doesn't have the insurances which we carry, from just liability, cyber security liability, professional liability, our automobile insurance. A lot of people in this industry, unfortunately, they do patrol jobs without having commercial auto for security. It's very expensive, but you got to carry. Then we got up to $10 million of
umbrella coverage. So all of that sits in with $10 to $11 million of coverage you have. Give the sense of security and belonging for our people as well as our clients. The goal is that all the risk is absorbed by us, and we still protect our people, and then we also don't have any of that spillover to our clients. That's one. Then the other aspect of technology, as we said, we are investing more and more into a CRM technology where this could really be the game changer for the entire security business.
We could probably, God willing, come up with a solution very, very soon within this year itself, that we could be able to license this out, and other security companies could also take it from us, and where it's going to reduce the cost of managing the business, and at the same time give twice as the effectiveness of where the guards are, the property is, the entry exit points, and the minute by minute report provided to the client on what they are paying for as a service. And using AI not just to be a gap filler, but using that to actually help us improving the operations as well as making security more effective.
That's awesome. I think that's all the questions. Just thank you so much for both of
Thank
you
you.
for being here. It was great to ask you the questions. I think the answers were amazing. Just like close it off by giving 1 minute, 30-second pitch to hire you. Like to anyone that's out there, just give a 30-second pitch.
Sure. The highest insurance and best technology and professionally trained guards, then you should hire us, SGS Security Guard Solutions. We'll be able to come in and assess your property free of charge and give you our best recommendation to prevent any situation happening at your site.
Perfect.
The reason you should hire Security Guard Solutions, besides everything else which Mustafa mentioned, is that where in today's industry you will have a multi-million-dollar company's owner and founder who is every single week at a site doing his own layered audits, looking at what the guards are doing, comparing to what the post orders were, and then reporting back to the client. Every single week he goes to a site across the states and is making sure that what we contracted to the customers are really getting what their money's worth is. That is the reason you should hire Security Guard Solutions compared to the rest of the competition out there.